I'm going to cover the 5 reasons why you may be a broke insurance agent, or at least not making as much money as you want to make. So if you feel like you're not making as much as you should, watch this video. You may get some tips from it that will help you make more money. Please subscribe to my channel and turn on post notifications if you find value in this. So the first reason that I've found that most people are not coachable in insurance, and what I mean by that is that they just simply do not apply the advice that they're given. People attend trainings, people go on coaching calls, people reach out in Facebook groups, people watch my YouTube videos, and they don't even apply the information. This business can be super simple, and it may sound kind of crazy for me to say that, and I promise there was a point in my career when I didn't think that, but it's because I was trying to reinvent the wheel. Like, I was trying to do everything different and try to like do it my own way. I learned pretty quickly after my first year that there are systems in place that you can just duplicate and be really successful with. So if I see someone making $1 million and I want to make $1 million, should I go do something different? Or should I do what that person who's making $1 million be doing? Well, I'm not going to go do it different anymore. And since I made that decision at the end of my first year, I said, you know what, why don't I just take advice from people who are already successful in this business and already doing well and do what they tell me to do. Once I made that change, everything changed for the better in my career. Even if the things they told me didn't make sense, I would still apply them and give it some time to see if it worked, because I did not get in this business to be an insurance agent. I got in this business to build a business. It wasn't my goal to be there on the phones or face-to-face for years. I got in it, I learned just enough that I needed to know to be able to sell, and I actually sold pretty well, and then to be able to teach that to other people. So I learned just enough to be able to duplicate myself, and I struggled at first by not being coachable. You got to think about it like this. Someone is successful and you want to be where they are. Would you have a better chance of being there if you did exactly what they do, or if you did something different? It may sound too simple to be true, but the reality is that all you got to do is just follow what other people are doing. Also, in addition to that, you got to make sure that you're applying the information that you get through trainings. I see this with agents every single week that I start. Literally, they'll attend training, they won't apply a single word that I say, and then they'll go in and they'll wonder why they're making mistakes and struggling. And then the people who do well, on the flip side, are very coachable, and they apply what they learn in training right away, and they make it a point. And that, I started doing that in my career. There was a point when I had that switch where I was like, hey, I'm going to start doing what I'm told. I was golfing last week in Nevis. We actually went on an agency trip there. It was great. It's a small island off the coast of St. Kitts. And when I was there, I was learning how to golf, right, on the golf course. So I asked my business partners, James and Grant, I'm like, yo, if you see me and Aaron was there too, if you see me messing up on my swing, tell me what I need to do differently. And it made me think about coachability as an insurance agent. Next, you don't practice. So in addition to getting coaching, okay, and being coachable, you may not be applying what you're learning in the training. So I see agents all the time who attend trainings and then they don't use it and don't do it and don't practice it. So just because you see something doesn't mean that it automatically comes to you, right? Like, you can watch Bruce Lee do a roundhouse kick, but until you practice it 10,000 times. That's, I think he said something about, I fear the man who has did one kick 10,000 times or whatever. But until you do that kick 10,000 times, you're not going to be that good at it, right? Just because you can talk doesn't mean that you're going to be good at sales. So you have to practice. So make sure that you're practicing this stuff all the time outside of your sales. I see new agents. They're like, man, I'm struggling. I'm like, yeah, well, I can tell you're not training outside of work because you keep making the same mistakes over and over and over again. You're not listening to your calls. You're not doing this stuff. So if you feel like you're not practicing enough, you got to be honest with yourself too, because this video, it's going to make you say, hey, there are some changes that I need to make for myself. Number 3, inconsistent scheduling. I don't know why, but sometimes once people get into a 1099 position, their entire schedule and structure falls apart. Sometimes people get into insurance because they're just not ready at this point in their life to take on a full-time position. But I'll be straight up honest with you. If you are not putting in at least 50 hours a week, then this business is going to be really, really tough for you. So you have to have a consistent schedule where you're working 50 undistracted working hours per week. You are just focused, you're calling clients, you're trying to make sales, or you're working on training. And I would even do 50 hours a week working and like 10 hours a week training. But an inconsistent schedule. So you need to get on the same page as other people in your home. I see people who have kids, who have all these, they don't feel good, they have health conditions, whatever. And there are people who have those things and say, I can't do it because of this stuff. And then there are people I know who have those things who say, I can do it because of these. I'm going to make it happen no matter what. So you got to figure out which of those people are you and make sure that you get your schedule consistent. Treat it like a business. You are in business for yourself. You work for yourself. So You got to treat yourself the same way that you would expect an employee of yours to work, right? Like if you hired someone to work for you and they're like, yeah, I'm going to show up when I want and do what I want. I don't really know what my schedule is going to be. That's no way to run a business. You run a business. You're an insurance agent. You're an independent contractor. You need to act like one. So you have to set a consistent schedule. I actually have another video that has that. If you want a tutorial on or a template on how I write my schedule, just email me at jve@thejbe.com. So now we're on to number 4, lack of leadership. And with this comes goals. So I put lack of leadership and goals as one thing. So now it may not all be on you, okay? Because all these things I talked about, hey, you're not coachable, you're not listening to what people tell you, yada, yada, yada. Well, you may not even have a good role model to tell you what to do in the first place, okay? Now, that's a thing I take very, very seriously here at my agency. I have a leadership team under me that I've built up, and they didn't work anywhere else before. They started here, and they know the drill, and we're there for our agents a lot. Like, I'm telling you, we're on the phone at like, I'm in bed at 8:30, but they're on the phone at like 11:30 at night helping agents close sales. So we help people through personal problems. We help them through sales problems, like whatever the case is, we're there for our people. So if you don't have a leader who's like that, this isn't a pitch to come join my agency, but if you don't have a leader who's like that, you got to find someone who is like that, because you don't know what a good example is unless you see someone who's doing it, right? There's plenty of people I see at other agencies and IMOs who are like, oh, you can make, this much money working here. Why don't you work here? And it's like, bro, how much you making? I hear it all the time when licensed agents apply to work with me. They're like, well, oh man, this, it's like critiquing a system. And it's like, bro, you're broke. You got no money. Like clearly you don't have the right leadership leading in the right direction. You got to get a leader who knows what they're talking about and has a proven track record, and that will be there for you when you need it, because you have to have that role model to follow, and then that person can help you set the right goals, which we're going to go to next. Because if you don't have anybody teaching you, you don't know like what is good, you don't know what's bad, you don't really know where to start, you don't know what's realistic, and you don't know what's a challenge, and you don't know what you have to learn. So when you have a good leader, you can learn from all the mistakes that they made. Like I'm telling you, I learned so much my first few years in this business that I can just tell people they can skip all those mistakes. Stop trying to either do it on your own without a leader, because I promise you there's someone better than you. I don't care how much you're selling. You could be selling 120,000 AP a month. There's someone who's making a lot more money than you out there, all right, and that you can learn from. And I thought I had it going pretty well until I got into some bigger circles and met guys who got teams doing 100 million a year, and guys making over $1 million profit per year. I'm not talking about that like BS, like 100, that million in deposits. I'm talking like $1 million profit, right, and more. So once you start meeting with people like that, then you start to learn like, hey, and those people are usually really good leaders too. So just find someone who has a proven track record, stay in touch with them, communicate with them, ask them to lay some steps down for you, ask them what goals you should shoot for, and then go out there and do it. And you got to be obsessed and committed to your goals. Have them give you an idea, but they got to be your goals. They have to have an energizing background to them. They got to get you excited and motivated, or else you're going to give up on them pretty easy. And make sure that that person can be in touch with you consistently as well. Okay, and you can't expect someone outside of your IMO to be in a ton of contact with you all the time. Make sure you either choose a leader inside your IMO, or maybe you have to change agencies or something, because that person usually probably has a lot of people of their own. Like me, I love helping agents, and I have plenty of you guys watching this now who have emailed me and reached out to me on text message and YouTube Live, and I don't mind helping people. But of course, like as an upline, you put more time into the people that work directly under you, right? I mean, there's more of an investment in there. You can always reach out to me too. I can refer you to a bunch of other places that, and even if you consider working with us, then that's cool. But I know plenty of people in the industry. Our model isn't for everybody. So if you feel like you don't have a good leader, reach out to me, let me know what you're looking for, and I can try to find someone in the industry that will fit that model for you as a leader. And then last, lack of leads. The dreaded leads. And I hate to say just buy more leads, because it's not really always about that if you're not that great. So if you have all these things in place, if you're practicing, if you're attending coaching sessions, you have a good leader, you're learning, you have a consistent schedule, you got good goals set, and you're training, as long as you have the leads that you need, then you can be successful. So once you have those other things in place, you got to make sure that you have a lead flow. So I see if people don't have enough leads, they're not going to make any money. That's just how it is. If you don't have any leads, you can't make enough money. You can be an absolutely terrible agent, but if you have an unlimited supply of leads, then you're going to make a ton of money. You can be the best agent, you have 0 leads, you're not going to make any money. So you got to learn that marketing will make you more money than sales, and marketing and sales together are lethal. So you got to get your lead flow down. You can check my channel. I have tutorials on how to make Facebook ads for final expense, how to make YouTube ads for final expense, TikTok ads for recruiting, but You can just apply that to the final expense thing too if you know that other stuff. Go through that content, go through the material. It'll help make you money. So if you feel like you're not making enough money, or maybe you're not making any money at all, if you can check these boxes, it's going to guaranteed increase your income. You also don't want to miss the next video coming up here where I cover every single objection that you will receive in final expense telesales, and you can use those rebuttals to those objections on the leads that you buy after you get these 5 things. So check out that next video, and I'll see you on the next episode.